The alien never attacked. It whispered Thor's name. The council voted. Eliminate it before it speaks again. Thor thought it was a monster, until it remembered his childhood. I waited centuries just to see you smile again. Hulk refused to fight. He saw its dreams. Iron Man lied. We knew it wasn't hostile. The alien died with a gift in its hands, Thor's baby rune. And what it said last made even gods kneel. The alert didn't come from Earth. It came from a dead star, one that shouldn't exist anymore. Over Jupiter's sixth moon, a Kree satellite went dark. Then something stranger happened. It returned, but not alone. Etched into its scorched, broken hull was a single glowing rune. Thor, not just a name, his childhood rune, the one he carved on his nursery wall in Asgard before he even lifted Mjolnir. A rune that only his mother Frigga knew. And now it was glowing in deep space. In the heart of Earth's last secure satellite vault, Iron Man stood in silence. The screen in front of him was cracked, static flickering. Behind him, the room was full. Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Hulk, and 2 council observers from Wakanda and Titan. Tony didn't waste time. It knows Thor's name, he said. Not the warrior, the child. Silence. Then Carol spoke. Maybe it's calling him. No, said Strange. It's testing us. Hulk's voice broke through like thunder. You're all wrong. It's remembering him. They all turned to look. Hulk had seen it already, days before. In a gamma-frequency dream no one else could access. The alien had entered his subconscious. It didn't scream, didn't attack. It hugged him. It showed him a snow-covered tree, a boy crying, a soft voice saying, I'll wait. We don't send a diplomat to this. Tony's voice was hard now. We send one man. Everyone looked at Thor, silent, motionless, leaning against the chamber wall, eyes locked on the rune hologram. Me, he said. Just that. No one argued. 2 hours later, Bifrost energy cracked the sky. Thor stood on the launch deck, gripping Stormbreaker. Wind howled across the platform. The alien anomaly was hovering just past Saturn. Silent, not moving, not emitting energy. Just waiting. But Thor wasn't afraid of war. He was afraid of the memory. Why did it know his childhood? Why the rune? Why now? Before stepping onto the Bifrost seal, Thor turned to Hulk. You saw it, he said quietly. Hulk nodded. I saw you, Thor. As a kid. It watched you cry. Thor's jaw clenched. He looked away. Don't kill it if you don't have to, Hulk said. It's not trying to win. It's trying to be seen. Then the light swallowed Thor whole, and he was gone. Saturn's silence was loud. No comms. No signals. No sound. Thor drifted forward inside a magnetic field bubble, Stormbreaker at the ready, eyes burning through the haze. Ahead it stood. Not a monster. Not metal. Not robotic. Just still. Humanoid. Tall. And silent. But around it floated something impossible. Asgard. A glowing replica of his homeworld, not destroyed, but recreated. Towers of golden crystal. The Bifrost Bridge. Even the cherry blossom trees. Perfect down to the last leaf. Thor's heart twisted. Was this some illusion? A trap? He stepped forward. The alien did not move. But something did. His mother's voice. Soft. Gentle. Thor. He froze. That voice was gone for centuries. And now it whispered from behind the trees. He tightened his grip on Stormbreaker, rage colliding with grief. What are you? Thor roared. No answer. Just a low glow from the alien's chest. And then a projection. A child, blonde-haired, crying under a tree, carving a rune into bark. It was him. Young, vulnerable, alone. The alien didn't attack. It remembered. Back on Earth, Iron Man watched the feed break. Signal lost, said the Wakandan observer. Tony's fists clenched. Do we send backup? Asked Carol. No, said Tony, voice cold. He either kills it or it tells him too much. Dr. Strange's eyes narrowed. You already know what it is, don't you? Tony didn't reply, but Hulk did. He's afraid Thor won't follow orders, because he'll remember it too. Tony turned slowly. If that thing pulls Thor into its memory field, he may not come back the same. Strange sighed. Or maybe he'll finally heal. In the ruins of memory, Thor walked, not toward an enemy, but toward a version of himself. The alien stood in front of him now, close. Its skin shimmered like starlight reflected in tears. Its voice, when it came, wasn't deep or commanding. It was gentle, familiar. I waited centuries just to see you smile again. Thor dropped to one knee, confused, stunned. I don't know you, he growled. The alien knelt too, mirroring him. But I know you. You named me when you were broken. You gave me life through pain. And from its chest, it pulled a small crystal. Inside a glowing rune, his rune. The alien held it out with both hands. Peace, offering, memory. Thor didn't take it, not yet. But he didn't strike either. For the first time in years, the god of thunder was speechless. And somewhere in the shadows of the stars, the council watched and began preparing Plan B. Thor stood face to face with it. This was no battlefield, no enemy, no war cry. The creature before him didn't bare its teeth. It didn't charge. It didn't glow with rage or unleash weapons from its skin. It watched him as if it had been waiting, not for Earth, not for the Avengers, for him. Thor raised Stormbreaker. His fingers trembled, not from fear, but something worse. Recognition. It was the eyes. The alien skin shimmered like molten pearl, veins pulsing with blue cosmic dust. But the eyes were human, soft, a child's. Thor's breath caught in his throat. I am Thor Odinson, he said, son of Odin. You called me. The alien's lips parted slightly. I never stopped. Back on Earth, inside a hidden quantum chamber beneath Wakanda, the remaining council members gathered again. Tony stood over the hollow display, rewinding the last image before the feed went dead. The alien handing Thor the rune. I told you, he muttered. It's too personal. It's not a threat, it's a memory. And it's dangerous. Dangerous how? asked Carol, arms crossed. Because it remembers him? Or because he might remember it? Strange was silent. His hands trembled slightly. Finally, he spoke. This isn't the alien's first visit. Everyone turned. What are you saying? Said Shuri. Stephen took a breath. Thor made it. As a boy, not in flesh, in thought, in grief, in a moment of pure emotional projection during the Nine Realms crisis. Tony's eyes widened. You mean? Strange nodded. It's not just remembering Thor's pain, it was born from it. Saturn's silence swallowed Thor whole. He lowered Stormbreaker. Who are you? He asked. Why Asgard? Why now? The alien didn't speak immediately. It turned, walking slowly across the floating recreation of Thor's childhood courtyard. The sky was soft gold. Cherry blossom petals fell without wind. You miss her, it said. Thor blinked. Who? The alien stopped beside a glowing reflection pool. Inside it, a vision of Frigga, his mother, reading to a child him. You were alone, even when surrounded. You dreamed of someone who understood. I dreamed of battle, Thor lied. The alien smiled gently. No, you dreamed of peace. The silence cracked like lightning. Thor gritted his teeth. You were never real, he growled. You're just some mirror of my weakness. I'm your wound, the alien replied calm. But I became real when your pain had nowhere else to go. Thor stepped forward, rage rising now. Did you call me here to lecture me? No, it whispered. I called you home. Back at the council, Hulk stood and punched the wall. Vibranium fractured slightly. You fools don't get it, he growled. This isn't an invasion. It's a reunion. Tony turned. And if it manipulates him into abandoning Earth, he won't, Hulk said. Because he's never abandoned pain. He carries it like armor. Strange stepped forward. The alien isn't here to fight. It's here to return something. Tony narrowed his eyes. Return what? Strange looked toward the sky. Thor's forgotten self. Inside the memory palace orbiting Saturn, the alien stopped walking. I didn't come to destroy your world. I came to give yours back. Thor was shaking now. You speak like you know me. "I am you," the alien said softly. "The part Odin made you bury. The part that wept when you saw your first death. The part that feared never being loved as more than a weapon." Silence. Then, the alien placed something on the ground. A carving. Rough. Ancient. Small. Thor's first rune stone. The same one he hid under his bed after carving it during the war, crying himself to sleep. He picked it up, eyes wide. It was real. Suddenly, a pulse cut through the memory zone. Sharp, surgical, invisible. Back on Earth, Tony had activated fail-safe protocol beta. A quantum disruptor was heading toward the anomaly at light speed. "Enough feelings," he snapped. "I'm not risking Earth on some galactic therapy session." Carol lunged toward him. "Tony, wait." Too late. The disruptor was already burning toward Saturn. The alien flinched. Its light dimmed. The Asgardian illusion around them began to flicker. "What is this?" Thor demanded. The alien fell to one knee. "They don't want you to remember." "What did you do?" Thor growled. "Nothing," it whispered. "I only waited. For you." Stormbreaker spun in his hand, but he didn't strike. He looked at the fading trees, the glowing vision of his mother, the child carved into the sky, and then at the alien, weak, cracked, still offering the rune. And he realized this was never a threat. This was an echo, a child waiting for closure. Far above, the disruptor struck. A blinding flash shattered the memory field. Thor was thrown back. The alien collapsed. Half of Asgard vanished into cosmic dust. Thor crawled toward the alien, coughing. It looked at him one last time. "I forgive you." Then its chest flickered, and it dissolved, leaving only the rune. In the ruins of that false Asgard, Thor sat alone, one hand bloody, the other holding a piece of his past. The council had won, but something in Thor had broken again. Or maybe it had finally started to heal. The alien was gone, or so the council believed. Thor drifted in silence, surrounded by fragments of golden dust. The shattered remains of the alien's Asgard still glowed faintly behind him. His armor was cracked, his breath uneven. The rune stone, the only thing that survived the explosion, pulsed weakly in his palm. It was still warm. "Bridge me home," Thor whispered into his calm. No response. Then a voice echoed inside his helmet. "We had to do it." "Tony." "Had to." Thor snarled. "You destroyed it. Protocol Beta was a containment strike. Nothing personal." Thor's eyes blazed. "It forgave me." A long silence. Then Tony's voice lowered. "Good. Then maybe you can forgive me too." Back on Earth, chaos brewed inside the council chamber. Captain Marvel slammed her hand on the table. "You detonated the strike without authorization." Tony's jaw tightened. "The thing hijacked Thor's mind. We saw the readings." "We saw empathy," she snapped. "Not infection." Hulk leaned forward. "You don't destroy something you don't understand. You ask." Tony turned toward him. "You think I didn't ask? I've been watching it for weeks." That signal wasn't random. It was repeating one word. Thor's childhood identifier. "That's not love, that's manipulation." Dr. Strange closed his eyes, tracing a sigil midair. No, it was repeating something else. Everyone looked at him. Not a name, a location. The room darkened as Strange conjured the rune hologram. The symbol glowed and rearranged itself. Tony frowned. "That's impossible." "It's a coordinate," said Strange. "Deep inside Odin's archived vault." "Why would Odin hide a coordinate?" asked Carol. Strange's expression hardened. "Because the alien wasn't a threat. It was a secret." Meanwhile, Thor's ship broke atmosphere. The rune still glowed in his hand, pulsing faster the closer he got to Earth. But something was wrong. Stormbreaker flickered with energy bursts, wild, unstable. His mind burned with images that weren't his own. A child drawing on a wall. His mother's laughter. A planet burning. The alien's voice. "They silenced us to protect you." He gritted his teeth. "Show me." Lightning cracked through the cockpit as the rune exploded with light. He saw it. A memory Odin never told him. A distant planet, lush, golden, peaceful. not Asgard, but connected. Odin once ruled there briefly, establishing a guardian post. But when war erupted among the realms, the planet begged for aid. Odin refused. The world died screaming. Their psychic echo, billions of minds perishing at once, traveled through the cosmos and latched onto Thor's young consciousness. The result? A sentient being made of Thor's own suppressed guilt, the alien. It didn't invade. It survived. Thor's ship roared across the sky. He didn't land at the council base. He stormed straight through it. Doors shattered open as lightning split the floor. "Where is Stark?" Tony stepped forward, removing his helmet. "Right here." "You lied to me." Tony's voice was steady. "I did what I had to do." "You killed something that was part of me." Tony pointed at the rune, still glowing in Thor's hand. "That thing nearly fused with your nervous system. You were losing yourself." "I was finding myself," Thor thundered. "It wasn't a weapon. It was a memory trying to heal." Hulk stood, fists clenched. "He's right, Stark. You crossed the line." Tony's voice broke slightly. "You weren't there when it first appeared. The signal came through the same frequency the Chitauri invasion used." "I thought." "You thought," Thor interrupted, "or you knew." Silence. Strange spoke next. Tony knew. The council knew. Odin's records were clear. The alien was created by a psychic resonance event from Thor's childhood trauma. Carol's eyes widened. "You hid that." Tony exhaled slowly. "Because if the world found out that a god's grief could create life, the kind that outlives civilizations, every weapon lab on Earth would try to replicate it." Thor's jaw tightened. "So you killed it to keep your secret." Tony looked away. "To keep the world from making more." The chamber shook. Thunder rolled. The walls dimmed as energy sparked around Thor. "You can't bury truth under safety," Thor growled. "That's not peace. That's fear wearing armor." Strange raised a hand. "Thor, wait. The alien's gone, but not entirely. Its energy trace leads somewhere else." "Where?" Strange pointed at the hologram, the rune glowing brighter now. "Below the council chamber." A hatch opened. They descended into Odin's hidden archive, a vault of ancient Asgardian relics sealed under Earth's foundation. At its center, a sphere of golden crystal. Inside it, swirling light, like a heartbeat. The rune in Thor's hand flared to life, responding. Hulk took a step back. "That's it. Or what's left of it." Thor walked closer. The sphere pulsed, and a voice echoed through the chamber. "You came back." Thor froze. The alien's voice. "Still alive." "Impossible," whispered Tony. "We vaporized the anomaly." "No," said Strange. "You vaporized the projection. This is its core." The light brightened. Within it appeared faint outlines, faces, memories, fragments of a lost civilization. Thor reached out. "I didn't mean to forget you." "You didn't forget," the voice replied softly. "They made you." The council stared in horror. "What does that mean?" asked Carol. The sphere trembled. "Odin sealed your memory to protect you. Your grief could ignite worlds. He hid me inside himself." Thor's breath caught. "You mean?" "Yes. I was part of him too." The light flared again, and for a split second, the alien's form reappeared, kneeling, eyes shining. "I was never meant to be your enemy, Thor. I was meant to be your inheritance." Then, the light began to collapse inward, violently. Tony reached for his gauntlet controls. "It's overloading." "No," shouted Thor. "It's remembering." The energy pulse surged, throwing everyone backward. Vision fragments spilled across the walls, Odin locking a glowing infant form inside the vault, whispering, "Forgive me, my son." The realization hit them all. Odin had trapped the alien, not to protect Asgard, but to erase Thor's psychic connection to it. The alien wasn't a creation. It was family. When the light died, the sphere was gone. The rune stone was cold. Thor fell to his knees, tears carving lines through soot and ash. "Father," he whispered. No one spoke. Even Tony lowered his gaze. In that silence, the council finally understood. They hadn't killed a monster. They'd murdered a memory. And the one who made it was sitting right in front of them, broken, quiet, and no longer a god of thunder. He was just a man grieving the part of himself that once wanted peace. Thor stood alone in the vault, eyes hollow, fists trembling. The rune stone had dimmed. The alien's final message had been clear. I was meant to be your inheritance. He wasn't just mourning a life. He was mourning himself. Behind him, the council waited in silence. Hulk, Strange, Carol, Tony. The air cracked. Thunder rolled across the underground vault as energy swirled around Thor's body. His cape lifted. Stormbreaker shook in his grip. Then he said it, quiet but thunderous. I refuse. Tony stepped forward, jaw tight. Refuse what? Thor turned slowly, eyes glowing white. To let you erase it again. Before anyone could react, Thor struck the vault floor with Stormbreaker. Lightning erupted, arcing straight into the golden walls. The shattered rune ignited, and the memory reawakened. Suddenly, light exploded in the chamber. Visions filled the air. Not illusions, not projections, truths. Young Thor laughing beside a tree made of stars. Frigga whispering to an invisible presence, saying, "You'll protect him better than I can." Odin, alone, holding the infant alien in shaking hands, whispering, "You are the piece of him I could never fix." Carol gasped. It was Odin's plan all along. He split Thor's soul to save the throne. Strange nodded slowly. The alien wasn't just a construct. It was Thor's grief made real. It evolved because he never healed. Tony staggered back. "We didn't kill a threat. You killed his innocence," Hulk growled. The chamber walls trembled. Above ground, the skies darkened. Clouds swirled unnaturally over Wakanda. Thor looked upward. The alien's voice echoed again, faint but rising. "One last time, my brother, call me back." Thor raised Stormbreaker to the sky. The lightning that came wasn't blue. It was gold, warm, alive. He struck the vault, and from the energy burst. The alien returned. But this time, it wasn't separate. It merged with Thor's lightning, his spirit, his past. Its form hovered above the ground, radiant, peaceful, eyes glowing like stars through tears. The alien looked at them all and spoke just once. He chose peace. You chose fear. And with that, it vanished again, not in death, but completion. Thor dropped to one knee, silent, still, whole. Carol whispered, "Is it gone?" "No," Thor said. "It's inside me now." And for the first time in centuries, he wasn't angry. He was free. The galaxy watched in silence. Every cosmic beacon, every satellite, every corner of every realm. All eyes on Thor, not as a god, not as a warrior, but as a broken son who remembered. He stood before the council once more, Stormbreaker on his back, the golden rune glowing against his chest. They were waiting for rage. He gave them truth. Odin sealed the alien to protect the lie. You voted to kill it to protect the legend. Tony looked away. Carol lowered her head. Hulk's fists were shaking. You called it a threat, Thor said. But it only ever wanted one thing. He held out the rune. It pulsed and projected a memory into the air. Not of war, of Thor as a boy sitting under a starlit tree whispering, "If no one ever understands me, I hope someone remembers me." The chamber fell still. "It remembered me," Thor whispered, "because I asked it to." Strange stepped forward. "What happens now?" Thor looked up. "Now, I return the memory to the stars." He walked outside. The skies above Wakanda were still cracked from his earlier storm. Thunder rolled in eerie silence. Thor raised Stormbreaker and let the rune rise from his palm, lifted by golden lightning. It ascended, glowing brighter and brighter, then burst into a million sparks, like fireflies scattering into the cosmos. Every planet with a pulse felt it. Every psychic, every dreamwalker, every child who ever felt alone, felt seen. The alien was gone, but its story was written into the stars. Back in the chamber, Tony spoke without looking up. "I thought I was saving the world." Thor didn't answer. He just said, "You never asked what the world needed saving from." Later that night, Thor stood alone atop the ruined vault, Stormbreaker planted in the ground, the stars reflecting in his eyes. Hulk joined him. "You okay?" he asked. Thor shook his head. "No." "Good," Hulk grunted. "Means you're finally human." They stood in silence. Above them, one last spark blinked in the sky. The alien's voice echoed, soft as memory. "You were never alone." Final shot. Thor, god of thunder, breaker of worlds, smiles. Not in victory, but in peace.